We are live. We are celebrating. Da, 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 da. This has been an amazing day, Maggie. You are the brainchild behind the brains, the heart, the everything behind this book. And you started your morning with a fabulous presentation for my networking group, which was not well attended today for some odd reason.
So sad for them.
It was bad for them, but it was good for those that got to hear it. And so, how do you feel about this day as we've been at it all day? We've been doing interviews with each of the authors in the book, which, including you, there's 9. What's your takeaway from what you're seeing happen today and the response, and even the other authors that participated in this book? And I am enjoying these interviews.
Oh, good. I'm glad you're enjoying the interviews because this is a great group of experts, isn't it?
It is incredible.
Right. And, so blessed to have a good variety. And somebody had said, last year's book was really great, as they all are. And they said, but last year's book wouldn't have been the right book for this year with COVID happening. And I was like, wow, they're right. It's a great book. This is a great book. This is the book for this year. And the funny thing is, I started vetting speakers before COVID was even really a word that we all knew. So I'm feeling really fortunate that, here we are. We found the right team for what everybody needs this year. So how often does that happen, right?
Well, I've been so impressed because as I'm working with the contents of the book, I get the essence of it, but you're busy trying to put all the parts together, so you don't always pick it up until these interviews today. It has just been like super wow, because it is the best combination of people that could go together at a time when our world totally needs it.
Right. And one of the things you had said, how do you feel today? And I want to share with you, I feel really, really blessed for the following reason. We are a community of authors, and we have had former authors come in and help us and share the message out that there's a new book, and it was amazing to have everybody come together. So we have different generations of authors now getting to know each other and potential collaborations there. So it's just fun and exciting. That was the vision all along, and here we are experiencing it.
Yep, it's kind of reaping the rewards of all the years of incredible work that has gone into bringing this year after year. And each time I feel like each book has built on the other, but each book they just keep getting better. And the reason I say that, not any disregard to any of the authors, it's not what I mean. It's just that it seems to be it goes and meets the needs of the time that book is published. And this year is a critical year. It's what our world has had to face is incredible. It's really incredible in the sense of just COVID by itself, but let alone everything else that's come our way.
Right. So we're really thrilled because, boy, we have some great news, don't we?
We do.
Are you going to share a little of the great news?
I certainly can, but I can say that for the U.S., we are number 1 in 6 categories right now. We have a whole bunch of number 2s and number 3s and all these other numbers. We are also international, with the UK being having hit number 1 in one of the categories there. I have been doing these interviews all day, so I haven't had a whole lot of time to kind of check out exactly what the exact details of all of this are, but it's pretty remarkable. pretty remarkable.
It is. And I'm quite excited about that because I was tracking, they're like, Maggie, how are we doing? How are we doing? And I'm like, oh, well, let's go look. And, it's a little bit of work when you do it manually, right?
It is. And I've always done it manually. Every book launch I do, I take the screenshots manually. Today I haven't been able to keep up with it, and just because it's been back-to-back interviews, but I do have a software that's catching a lot of it. But there's nothing like keeping the screenshots from the moment to moment of when things change, and the excitement of watching that go from kind of way out there as far as the ranking, and as the supporters and people are picking it up and finding out about it and getting this book for themselves. I've been looking at not just the Kindle book, but also the print book, and there's some good action going on both fronts.
Oh, well, I know we hit a #1 on the print book as well. #1 bestseller, not hot new release, but a bestseller. So it's really exciting. And this year, the team said, we want #1 international. That was the goal. And boy, we pulled out all the stops to make that happen. So way to go, team. Way to go, team. You did it.
And the day's not over. So the ranking, simply because of the way this has been structured, the ranking is going to continue to go high. And actually, because of the way we did the pre-launch and the launch, we're able to keep the ranking up way high for a longer period of time. Into the #1s already, and into really up there. And so there's a lot of strategy that goes behind making all of this happen, but there's a huge thing to be said for the type of people that you have been able to attract and bring into you.
Well, and a big part of that is the relationships that they own.
Yes.
So it's something that I know nobody understands until they've experienced it and thought about it like for a couple weeks. What just happened?
What are you saying?
I know what I got, but what just really happened, right? And what happened is a lot of strategy and tactics to make sure that everything and the timing was there. This is one of those things that hands down there is a sequence to success. And I want to thank you, Becky, because every year you and I have dialed this in. This is our 4th. I got to get my I don't know where I am. This is our 4th volume, and you and I met and we started at 2 and we did 3 and now 4, and every year we refine it. Mm-hmm. So I want to say thank you because you're a great guide, and that allows me to do what I need to do with our team to achieve our goals. So kudos to you.
Thank you. Well, it's fun to see where we've come and the journey that this takes us on. But before, we're in this part of the conversation, and there will be others viewing this video. So I wanted to talk a little bit about your chapter. The inspiration is how valuing your values adds value to your business. Let's talk about that.
Sure. Where would you like to begin? Okay, I'll begin. I'll say something and then you can jump in. I wanted to do this topic last year, and we had authors in the Performance Pillar of Peace that were dialed in, and that's where they belong. So I put this on hold, and I'm actually really glad that I did, because the research that I did was very insightful. I didn't expect what I would find. There's plenty of research if you know how to look for research like this. And all of the top CEOs came back, the most successful CEOs, and said that working on their values and making that a priority for their business was their secret sauce to success. I did not know that when I started this research. So I was blown away by that.
Well, but it's so true. If you understand your core values and you stick with those core values, you also listen to where your passion, where your joy is, where you shine the best. Those are all some really key areas and they don't always stay the same. They can fluctuate, they can change with the times that we're living.
Absolutely. And this is one of those things that there's science to it, but there's a lot of art. And that's why small businesses typically don't hear about values. But I will tell you, if you have what people tend to call a time management issue, it's because you don't know what your values are. Your values are what harmonizes everything, and it helps you determine your priorities. So you're working on the things that matter.
Mm-hmm.
Even marketing, one of the women that I interviewed, she dialed in about how core values is the crux of her marketing for her business. And I sort of laughed about that because I have a marketing background, and I thought, yes, that is very, very true. But I would not have naturally said that until I heard her say it and we talked about it. So I even discussed that in the chapter, how this shows up in your branding, in your day-to-day operations. It's pretty fascinating if we allow it to be.
Yes, very much. And the overall thread, because you have a lot of diversity in the four pillars, in those four pillars, a lot of diversity in people that actually took place in that is shared in the writing, shared in the wisdom sharing that there has been today.
Mm-hmm.
Yet there's a common thread. There's a common thread of, embracing the whole person, embracing the big why behind what we're doing, embracing leadership, and embracing what we bring to the world and the leadership qualities that we are here to serve with. And it's been pretty fascinating, from building confidence to taking care of your overall health to the financial aspects of it, to every aspect of this. It's been you've very skillfully brought together some incredible people to pull this together.
Thank you. Thank you. Good people matter. Building great relationships is what fortifies good people to hang out with. Okay, and that's what it's really all about. I talk with a lot of experts that are true experts at what they do, but they're not collaborators. And it's just like, you're missing the boat. That's how business is done in this century. And that's how we do this whole book thing. We have the book as an anchor for our brand. We have a weekly podcast just with the authors, and we have an app dedicated to the book and the authors as well. And then we do an annual summit during Small Business Week in May with the author team again. So we couldn't do that all if we didn't know how to collaborate well.
That's correct. Yeah. And why did you choose this day?
Well, every year the book releases in November, which is National Entrepreneurs Month. So entrepreneurs and small business owners, they run pretty close together. I would call them cousins. I have some very distinctive definitions around what they are, but we won't go into that. That's actually in the book. So somebody could check that out in the book. But you know what, Becky, thanks for saying that, because there is something I'd like to share about our book that's very unique. Oftentimes when people get a book, they don't read the introduction. This introduction is the same in all of the books, and it talks about what's going on in the business sector. past, present, and into the future, as well as some frameworks and some myths that need to be debunked because they are myths. And we need to focus on what's true so we know how to improve our success rate. So I would encourage everybody, when you're reading the book, start with the introduction, because it will give you an understanding of why the book is set up the way that it is, with the 4 performance pillars for small business success. And it will also give you an introduction to each one of the chapters so you know which one you would like to start with.
Yes, and the key part of this is as we really focus on what it takes to be successful in business as an entrepreneur or as a small business, is that you take advantage of all that's coming to us. You take advantage of, you seek out the type of people that can guide and direct you to taking bigger and better steps or smarter steps to grow your business. You read books like this that expand your horizons and expand your knowledge. And, as Mike Graber mentioned, the imposter syndrome, not letting that hold us back and in following our heart and our bigger goals. So what you bring to the world is amazing, and our hats off to you for spearheading it, for having the wisdom and the vision for it, and our hats off to each one of those that took part in this series to be able to bring it to the world too, because each one has had a special flavor all of their own that has contributed to the overall amazingness of the book. Oh, I think it's gorgeous. It's my favorite color too.
Right. But you bring up the valid point. And in every podcast, yes, I am the founder. I'm the continuity. I go vet people, all of that. But here's the key. Like all good things, I didn't do it alone.
None of us can.
Right. And we're delusional if we think we can. So the more people we invite, the right people. Okay, so that means we really have to know what our purpose and our vision and our mission is, as well as our values. We have to have that part dialed in first. That's to slow down, get clear what you're really trying to make happen, and then bring the right experts along with you to guide you and walk alongside you, and maybe sometimes kick in the butt, because sometimes we need that too.
Yes.
So it's a
well,
not. Well, I'd like to say we don't, but come on, we all do. And I want to thank the team, because this team is awesome, as well as the former authors who always show up and help out during release time. So kudos to you, brilliant practicing experts.
And congratulations. Oops.
Okay, and look at that. It was so naked, and pretty soon it'll have its number 1s all over that cover.
It'll be number 1, and it'll join those ones on the shelf behind me that we can't see because of all the thumbs up here.
All right. Oh, thank you, Becky.
We will end this broadcast, and this is the last in our live Facebook Lives and YouTube Live and all that we're doing today, but with big congratulations on a job well done.
Thank you. Thank you.